Hello, it's Doug, the 2-Minute Gardener. Today, a little bit longer video, how to build a water feature. So this was the backyard of this particular client, and they really wanted a water feature that kind of wraps around. So once we cleared out all the plants and rocks and got all this stuff out of the way, we kind of did a rough layout, first on paper and then with the big red hose. Yeah, you know I love using those big red hoses to lay things out, like water features and paths. Once we all had an agreement on the starting and middle and the bend of the water feature, then it was time to excavate. And look what we found, a big drain pipe, which had to be rerouted. And then we dug that big giant reservoir. Now, this particular backyard was completely flat, so we're going to have to build up one end and sink the other end. Because with these kind of water features, it's best to have a starting point of about a 3-foot fall. So we built this beautiful retaining wall to kind of back up the water feature high points, and then it's time to dig a hole on the other side for the reservoir crates. And here you can see they're bringing in more dirt to keep building it on up. We actually got up to about 4 feet and then kind of smooshed it down just a little bit with the rocks and liner, as you're going to see later in this video. I love that baby bobcat, by the way. I think it's great for getting in and around. All right, they've excavated the big hole. Now notice there's 2 different levels. The really deepest part of that, where his shoes are, is actually where the pump reservoir is going to go, which is that round thing. It goes down in there, and then the reservoir crates are going to go around it, because this is a pondless water feature. So a grill is going to sit on top of those crates to give the illusion that the water feature ends there. But of course, when you're dealing with that much water, it has to sit someplace. So again, a pondless water feature is going to require these crates right there on top of that pond liner. By the way, make sure you use a heavy duty pond liner. We're talking a 45 mil EBTD rubber liner for this. Now, if you're also putting that liner down on top of rocks or sharp things, use some kind of geotextile underlayment as well. Now, this one was a very soft dirt area that we're doing this water feature, so they just put the water liner, the rubber liner right on top of that. All right, so working our way down from the high point, it's time to start stretching that liner out and forming it with these rocks. This particular water feature needed 5 tons of new rocks brought in. Now, I love these Baja Cresta. These are these kind of bronzy red rocks. They're called Baja Cresta. They're wonderful here in Southern California for these kind of water features. And it's important with these kind of water features, you think about where the fall is going to go. There again is the pump reservoir and the big tube that's going to go all the way to the back and have that nice little connector right at the very top part. Now the tedious part, moving all those rocks and liners, and again, 1 fall, 2 fall, 3 falls. Ultimately, we had 4 falls going down into the reservoir. The reservoir was hidden under the rocks, which sat on top of those grates. Now, when you're doing a water feature, I recommend putting some lights in it. These wonderful LED lights last 10 years, use 2 watts, really easy to put in. And you'll see more of that in the lighting video that I posted last week. All right, now you can see the water feature starting to take shape. We have the rubber liner going all the way down. Now the liner is overlapping all the way to the reservoir. And now these guys are slowly working out the primary rocks that form the liner, and then the secondary rocks, which are going to form the planting beds around the water feature to give it a more natural look. All right, so back to the mechanics of the water feature. A couple things you want to make sure to have with these water features is a check valve down at the pump, so that when the water stops, it doesn't backflow back into the pondless area and overflow that. You want to make sure that water that's been pumped up to the top head stays there. The other part that he's playing with right there is the autofill valve, so that if for some reason in high heat the water feature starts to run low of water, it automatically fills up with more water. This is typically connected to a lateral line that's part of the main irrigation system and has its own dedicated valve. There's the pump in the pump reservoir. Again, with these kind of water features, you're looking at a 30-foot long water feature and about a 3 to 4 foot height. you're talking you need a pump that can handle about 3,000 gallons per hour to have that. Also, when you're doing these water features, make sure you have that little shutoff valve in case something breaks. You want to be able to turn off the water to the entire water feature. All right, the water is flowing. We're checking everything. Also, it's important that once you've turned it on, everything works. There's no leaks. There's no rips. Then it's time to go back and actually start gluing those rocks in place. Because if you don't glue those rocks in with a nice little epoxy, eventually they'll get loose and mess up the water feature. But first, test it, make sure everything looks good, and then you can glue it in. Except for those ones right by the waterfall itself, those you want to glue in place. And notice how we kind of directed it toward a middle part to give a really nice fall. Another thing that's really important with these rocks, when you're picking these rocks, is notice the ones for the waterfalls have a really flat edge. That's how you get that nice noisy fall, by having a nice edge that falls off. All right, we turned off the waterfall. We've double checked all the rocks. And now it's time to start adding the secondary rocks for the planting bed going around it. Yeah, let's add some plants. Whenever I do a water feature, I always want to put these little succulents, and succulents are great for water features because they don't need a lot of dirt or a lot of water. They can survive in these little tough areas. Another part that was kind of fun with this design is that we did a bridge over the water feature. We found this big piece of flagstone, really fabulous, very natural looking water feature look over the bridge area. And over on the other side, we're going to do a nice decomposed granite patio, as well as putting some other plants under the tree itself. The DGs you see is going on that wonderful landscape fabric to keep the weeds from coming up. And here you go. Now we have the water flowing. The succulents are planted. The flagstone bridge is put in place. And once everyone likes where it is, we're going to glue that baby down as well. And then over at the reservoir, we kind of mixed in some other rocks to kind of hide that reservoir, so it wasn't just looking at grates. Here is the finished fall all the way down, all the way around, kind of bending. Is now this beautiful focal point for this garden. A big thank you to SoCal Waterscapes and Unique Landscaping. They did a great job on this water feature. Check out the links for more information about these wonderful companies, as well as links for some of these products like the pump and the lighter and the valve and some other wonderful things as well. Well, that's all for now. Don't forget to hit that like, hype, and subscribe, and leave a comment on some of the things you've done with your water feature. I'm always fascinated to hear what other people like to do as far as accenting their water feature with lights and plants and all kinds of cool things. Well, that's all for now. This is the 2-Minute Gardener. This is Doug saying thanks so much for watching, and we will see you next time.